Hello again, this is Keith Hickey, Town Administrator for the Town of Kingston with the latest edition of Kingston In Depth. With me today is our Council and Aging Director, Marybeth Lawton. Marybeth, thanks for being here.
Thank you, happy to be here.
We are going to be talking today about what's happening in Kingston at the Council on Aging, some of the things that the Council on Aging and their board are working towards to try to provide more services to the town and its residents, and potentially an opportunity, if you're interested, to serve on its board. So with that, Marybeth, maybe you can share a little bit about what's going on at the Council on Aging right now, and some of the things that, if you aren't a member, you might be interested in becoming a member to participate in.
Awesome. The Council on Aging for the Town of Kingston serves anyone over the age of 60. And if you have need for services, or you need to find out what you can do to help a particular situation, say you need fuel assistance, you just give us a call up. We have almost 4,000 seniors, people over the age of 60 in the town of Kingston. Did you know that?
I did.
So that's a very large piece of the population, and what we try to do is just through the various departments within the Council on Aging, we have outreach. We have somebody that does our social and our social media presence. We have a very thriving transportation program, which is always going. Today is a particular day when we're really busy because we have lunch for 70 today we're doing. And then there's myself, and we're currently in the process of looking for a position. We're going to be hiring somebody for an assistant director of elder affairs.
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to that in particular, because one of the things I've really been wanting to do over the last year, and I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary in July shortly, is that I've been wanting to get out into the community. We had a yard sale last Saturday at the senior center that really went well. And as much as I enjoyed seeing my seniors that come in every single week, I really, really enjoyed seeing their family members come in, because those are the people we haven't seen. We get phone calls from them all the time.
Sure.
How can I help my mom? I need nursing services. Can you talk to me about an assisted living, whatever it is. But they came in and they saw us there. We were having fun. Music was going. Patty and I were dancing throughout the entire place, going a little crazy. But we had a chance to meet them and say hello and let them know who we are and what we do and what this building is all about. That piece of this, opening the building up and letting others and other groups and people and activities happen in the senior center, is really important. So my going out into the community, meeting with retail establishments, with banks, civic organizations, nonprofits, I want them to know what the Council on Aging is, so that we can form a partnership with them going down the road.
Sure, and in the Council on Aging, I know there's a number of different programs that are offered, people who have interest in sewing and knitting and playing cards. There's a variety of groups within the senior center.
Absolutely.
That provide some opportunities to get involved and to participate in things and maybe meet some new people.
They do. We offer socialization, we offer education, we offer emotional support. What we try to do is take in the holistic person, so that when we're looking at someone and they're there, I've had the strangest conversations at times when someone calls up and they've said to me something as simple as, my mom and dad need a will, can you help me? When we start to talk, I can easily put them in someone that will help them to do a will.
Sure.
Probably for very little dollars to be able to get it done. But when you start talking to that person, you get more of a sense of what it is that's going on. So for us, the conversation, being able to talk to them and having that beginning spot where we go from, allows us to fill in the blanks. That person that needed the will actually didn't need the will for her parents. It turns out that they were living in a home not in Kingston that happened to be 16 inches underwater, and their house was about to be condemned, it turns out. And I needed to touch base with another COA director in another town, let them know what was going on, and see if the Board of Health could step in and prevent that from happening.
Sure.
So we work together, we work alone, we work with the departments with the town of Kingston. One of the best programs I think that we've done, and I know you've participated in this, is the Brunch and Learn. That's one of those segments where we bring people in to educate our seniors about what it is that's going on. You came in and talked about what was happening in Kingston. The assessor came in. We have plans to bring other departments in and let people know what is that department all about. And
Sure.
I'm pretty certain they really didn't have an in-depth understanding of what you did until you got in there and explained to them what your job was all about.
Sure.
So really, if you're interested in doing something, if there's something that we're not doing for you, if there's a program or an activity, our doors are wide open. Just come and see us and talk about what it is that you'd like, and we will work with you together to make sure that we can get a program, if not that program, something very close to it.
And the hours of the Council on Aging are basically the same as the hours of the townhouse, except for on Friday. You are open on Friday afternoons.
We are.
Where the townhouse isn't.
Yes.
So if people can just pop in and introduce themselves to you, and you can let them know, what you could do to meet the needs that they have.
We had 1,862 people come to visit us last month.
That's great.
And so every single person has a question. They're attending an activity. They want to participate in something, and they're there to stay active and engaged, and to make sure that that all of those things that are so important, the socialization, the transportation piece, the housing piece, is all in there, and we're helping them with those pieces.
Sure.
That's one of the initiatives that you mentioned a little bit. Where's the Council on Aging going from here? This is really exciting. You were part of this process back earlier in the year about getting the age and dementia-friendly designation for the town of Kingston. And so the Council on Aging Advisory Board supported this. They voted to support it. We went in front of the Board of Selectmen and had a presentation done by UMass Boston. And the Board of Selectmen is also supportive of this project. For those of you out there that aren't certain what it is I'm talking about, the Age and Dementia Friendly Initiative, think of it as from the age side, think of it as a master plan for the town of Kingston. What is it that we need to do to make sure that our housing, our transportation, the way that we do things in Kingston are specifically set up for people that as they age.
Sure.
The dementia side is a little bit different. This is more of a civic engagement within the community and the the employees of the town of Kingston. For example, both the police and the fire have to go through training in order to understand what it's like if they make a call in on someone that the ambulance goes around and they don't know what's going on. We're trying to get information out that may be on a refrigerator that indicates that person is on medication.
Sure.
Some of that medication is for dementia. As a result, they should be treated in a different fashion than that person that is going in, because the fear that's there, that's being generated by that call, they need to understand and know how to work with that. So we're really excited about this, because this isn't just the Council on Aging getting involved in this. This is town-wide. This is through all of the religious community, throughout the community of the employees of the town of Kingston. And it's going to take, we're only starting out on the process, and to get to that very first stage where we say we've done something, that's going to take us 3 to 5 years to get to that point.
Sure.
So, but it's really exciting, because it really is a change, not just for the seniors, but for everybody. One of the things that I think that was really interesting is that Salem, Massachusetts went through this designation as well, and they put together not just a group, but a plan. They have what's called Salem for All Ages Action Force, and then the Salem for All Ages Action Plan. So that Action Force meets twice a year with the Board of Selectmen, and also with all of the information that was pulled together by all the precinct captains for Salem for All Ages and the Action Plan. So everybody's meeting together, and they're deciding from the snapshot that we'll do when UMass comes in to do the survey, hopefully in the fall, we'll get a snapshot of what's happening in the town of Kingston for the Council on Aging, but it'll also tell us what we need to work on.
Sure.
And the other unknown, unseen, unforeseen benefit to this is that when that survey's done, it tells the Council on Aging, this is where you're at. Even if you don't do anything else, pay attention to these markers, because these are the things where you need to work on and improve.
That's great.
So I think it's a win-win across the board. Absolutely.
Gives you a kind of a game plan and a roadmap on how to move forward and address some of the things that you might want to try to improve on, and maybe ways to try to do that. So that's great.
Absolutely. I've had an interest, and I've spoken with the members for the Affordable Housing Trust, because I believe that a lot more could be done within Kingston to try to get some type of housing set aside. And it's my hope that they can work with the planning and the zoning board to make sure that the accessory dwelling units go
Right.
in so that we can have another form, a viable form
Right.
of low-cost housing for our seniors here.
Yeah, I know there's a need, certainly there's a need for the housing, and right now our zoning is a little bit challenging with regards to the accessory dwelling units.
Yeah.
Meaning an in-law apartment.
Right.
As an example of an accessory dwelling unit, and allowing a family to modify their existing house or add on to their existing house to allow, a relative who is in need of housing or in need of having somebody there rather than living on their own to be able to do that. And so, it's a balancing act because, once the relative goes away, are people, renting out the
Yes.
apartments to other people who want relatives. But I know that our planning department and planning board will be looking at some different options and modifying our zoning ordinance, or at least bringing that forward to the voters to
That
see
would
if
be
they'd be
nice.
willing to
I look
modify
forward
that,
to
because
that.
it is an important. We want to be, Kingston, I think, wants to be very age friendly, and we certainly don't want to exclude a family who's looking to have a parent or a relative, move into their home but also have some privacy of their own and having
Right.
a separate apartment. So I know they're working on that. I don't know if something will come forward this fall, but hopefully by next spring we'll have something in place for the voters to consider, and ideally make it a little bit easier for those who need that opportunity to be able to utilize it,
Yeah,
and have
that's-
access to it.
You must know, since you talk with the state reps and and the senator, and you hear regularly from Beacon Hill, you're aware, that housing and transportation are our two biggest issues that
Right.
we're facing,
question.
regardless. Yeah, for whether it's for seniors or for others. The thing that I love about the task force that Salem put together is that they recognize the fact that while we're creating and making these changes and putting these plans in place for the seniors that are here now, we're really putting together a game plan for the very group that is the largest demographic in Kingston right
Sure.
now, which is that, if I'm not mistaken, it's somewhere from 44 to 51, if I'm not mistaken, is our largest demographic. They have 2.1 kids in the school. And so we're building a Kingston for our seniors, but the people that are going to have the input into this survey that's going to be done by UMass is people that are non-seniors.
Right.
Because they need to determine themselves what this community is going to look like going
Sure.
down the road.
Sure.
Right?
I think you've mentioned it a couple of times in some of your descriptions of your services, but I'd like to touch on it a little bit more just to make sure that people are aware of the service we provide. But we do provide transportation services.
Absolutely.
For people who are members of the Council on Aging, and we have two vans. The smaller school bus looking.
Yep.
Vehicles. They're wheelchair accessible.
Yep.
So whatever condition somebody's in, I think typically we're able to load them on a van, bring them to wherever they need to go, and bring them back home. So obviously, as people get a little bit older and driving is more of a challenge, and they may have to rely on family sometimes, there is an opportunity, I think, to reach out to the senior center and participate in the transportation program there. They can get you where you need to go in the same time frame you're looking to get there. Doctor's
Absolutely.
appointments, grocery stores, whatever it happens to be. So if you're not aware of that, and you'd like to take advantage of the transportation that the Council on Aging offers, I think it's a great opportunity to be able to do that.
That's right.
so-
You missed one word.
I'm sure I did.
Free.
There you go.
It's free. That's the really great thing about this. The town of Kingston is kind enough to underwrite the cost of the GATRA cards because we have our two vans from GATRA.
Right.
And we have a total of 4 van drivers that rotate in and do the driving. That is, besides my office, that's the second busiest department in the entire Council on Aging.
Sure.
And it's because of the fact that seniors, and that's the thing they hate to do. They hate giving up that license.
Oh, yeah?
That is the hardest thing for them, to be able to say, it's time for me to recognize this. And so you have to be sensitive. You have to be able to understand. Many times it's talking to family members or those people that hold the healthcare proxy. And
Right.
we have a chance to determine what the situation is. Do they need to have someone on the van that is going to be looking out for them because they might have a cognitive issue? Do they have a walker? Do they have a wheelchair? How do we secure that? How do we get them back and forth? Thursday's our craziest day because we, as I mentioned earlier, we're serving 70 people, and the majority of those people come in on that van.
Sure.
So it's it really is fun to have a Thursday going on like that. It's kind of crazy, but the people that wouldn't otherwise be able to get to the senior center, and today's lunch is for Father's Day.
Nice.
So yeah, we're doing Joyce's special soup, which is fish eye soup. It's a Portuguese soup
Yikes.
with a specialty, and then they're also doing an open face ham sandwich with a little bit of a chipotle honey on the top.
Nice.
So,
and
yeah,
these lunches are
home cooked.
served every Thursday.
Yes.
And if you're interested, again, if you want to be part of the lunches and you want to join the Council on Aging, you can participate in those Thursday lunches whenever you feel like it. You don't have to do it every week,
Right.
But it's an opportunity to get out of the house, meet some people your own age, and be able to hopefully form some friendships.
Right, and it's free. It's no cost to join the senior center. And right after the senior center, after they have their lunch, they have bingo. So I know we talk a lot about seniors and bingo, but this is one of those kind of things where that socialization for them, that group happens to stay together throughout the entire week. So it's really awesome to see them go from Monday to Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, they land in Kingston to play bingo, and then I want to say they end up in Plymouth, I think it is, on
Sure.
Friday. So it's wonderful when you see the same crew coming through every single week, and you know that there but for the love of God stands I, right?
And they play bingo. There's
it's cutthroat
no
bingo.
hold barred. So it's
And we have a license. I just want to make sure that people
Sure.
understand that too. This is where the beauty about doing this is that it's a fungible, moving thing. It's alive. And so what you do and how you do it is predicated upon the people that come to see you and that
Sure.
are part and parcel of the fabric of your community. So there are 351 cities and towns in Massachusetts. There's 350 councils on aging. One of them happens to be have merged, not in a regionalization, but just merged.
Mm-hmm.
And so every single one of them is as different as chalk is from cheese to the other one, because of they respond to the people that are in that community, and they form that senior center and the activities all around them. We have, by the way, we have some great senior centers around us, right? We have Plymouth, we have Marshfield that's just doubled its size. I mean. But when we look at Kingston, we have a great deal of pride in us because we think of ourselves as the little engine that could.
Sure.
We can't do everything, but the things that we do them personally and we do them well.
Sure. And a couple of things. If people aren't aware where the Kingston Senior Center is, it's right behind the townhouse on Evergreen Street. So if you drive into the townhouse parking lot, before you get to the Animal Control Center, you take a left, and there's a beautiful brand new building down that road that is our Council on Aging, and would love to have you take a look at that. Last thing, before we go, with July 1st coming in the new fiscal year, one of the things that occurs is all of our appointed board and commissions, everybody's in a 3-year term, and
Yes.
those 3-year terms, obviously, some of those individuals' terms are expiring this year. We have 4 Council on Aging members, board members whose terms are expiring. At this point, 2 have expressed interest in being renewed. Those 2 will be considered for renewal at next Tuesday night's Board of Selectmen meeting. But there are 2 openings on the.
Yes.
There will be 2
There will
openings.
be 2 openings as of July 1st.
On the Council on Aging board. It's an advisory board. Mary Beth will bring information to them on different projects. Again, you talked about the dementia-friendly initiative you're taking on at the senior center. Those types of things are brought forward. Policy-type decisions that have to be made. So if you're a member of the Council on Aging now, or you'd like to get involved and be a member of the Council on Aging, and you'd like to do a little bit more and serve on a board that meets monthly,
Yes.
typically, I'd urge you to submit a letter of interest to the Selectman's office. You can do that either by email or just stop by with a handwritten note to the Selectman's office and say you're interested in serving on the Board of Council on Aging, excuse me, the Council on Aging Board, Advisory Board, and
Or come to a meeting, come and see what it's like. Come and see what it's like, sit down, watch us, have a chance to listen to what's going on and see what we do. The advisory board is really, really an important part of planning going forward. They don't deal with the day-to-day running of the senior center. That's what I do. They're in charge of seeing a vision.
Sure.
And looking at it and putting together policies and procedures that are going to bring Kingston seniors moving forward and staying in that direction. We also need those, so those are our super volunteers, great, wonderful people. We also need people too, if I could put a good word in here.
Sure.
I need seniors or people that are interested in delivering meals to seniors. Our Meals on Wheels program is, we deliver tens of thousands of meals every single year. And they rely on having somebody get that meal to them by a certain time of the day. And we're just struggling right now to get people that are interested in using their car to be able to make those deliveries.
So what you need to be a Meals on Wheels driver is a valid driver's license and a vehicle and a smile. You don't have to be over 60 years old.
Nope.
We'll be happy to have anybody do that.
So what we've done in the summer too is for the kids that are getting out, their parents drive them around and they're delivering the meals themselves.
Nice.
And it really gives them a chance to see how the other half lives. Sure. A lot of times at a certain point, those kids may not have grandparents that are still alive. And so it really gives them that ability to have that intergenerational face-to-face moment.
So any last words, plugs that you want to make sure people are aware of before we sign off today?
Come see us at the senior center.
Yes.
Please. I look forward to meeting everybody down there and making some new friends.
It's a great resource for those who are 60 or older. We try to provide as many services and options and assistance for those people who attend and are members of that organization. So please take advantage of that if you can. If you have any questions, Marybeth is there 5 days a week. Either give her a call or stop by and say hello.
My door's
and
always
walk
open.
around. We'll be happy to give you a tour of the facility.
Yep.
And see if it's a good fit for you. So with that, I want to thank again Marybeth Lawton, our Council on Aging Director, for coming in today. My name is Keith Hickey, I'm the Kingston Town Administrator. I want to thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again soon.